I got into fashion when I was probably an early teenager. I was a little bit scared of it, and then when I was about 13 or 14 I started modelling. Then I started getting into kind of punk clothing, and that was kind of my introduction. My name is Woolley and I am a freelance vintage fashion buyer, and I'm also a YouTuber, do makeup artistry. I started blogging about style when I was in my first year of uni studying journalism. All Dolled Up actually started as a written blog, and then it evolved into a YouTube channel, and then it evolved into a store. So now it just kind of encompasses everything that I do. I never really cared so much about what people thought about what I wore, but that's evolved a lot over time. I come from a background of two jazz musicians as parents, so they're pretty liberal people. They've always kind of been welcome to me and my brother doing whatever we kind of wanted, and they've always really liked the way I dressed, and that's a pretty big thing because a lot of parents aren't really accepting of that kind of thing. But I've been doing it for so long now that they just expect it. When I shaved my hair off last year, my dad was the one who was like, yeah, go and do it, you know. This is the finished look. They still do worry because it is a really, really hard industry to survive in, and they both come from creative backgrounds as well, so they know how hard it is, especially financially. I'm influenced by so many different types of people. I'm very influenced by music, and I think that music and fashion really tie in together, especially people like David Bowie, Debbie Harry. I'm into eras of fashion. I'm a huge Edie Sedgwick fan, Andy Warhol, Twiggy, all the big supermodels of the 60s and 70s. That was probably my favourite era. I'm inspired by everyone from like Marilyn Manson to Liberace. I just do a lot of research on a lot of different people, and it's really helped me evolve my style over time. I collect lots of random things in my house, like my pet cheetah over here. This is Frederick. He's my housemate. When I grew up in school, I guess I've got the pretty typical story of the kid that was a bit different and went through a bit of a hard time for it. It was a very, very difficult time for me growing up. I left 3 schools because of it. It was pretty serious. I guess being on the internet and having a following, you do leave yourself out for trolls and bullying. The way that I have dealt with that has changed over the years. When I first started YouTube, I did react a lot of the time and I would get really upset about it. And now I actually stand back and look at what this person has said, and I realise that person knows nothing about my life. I guess through my whole life, I have suffered on and off with depression, at some points quite seriously. So mental health is another thing that I'm very passionate about. In the last few years, people have really taken mental health very seriously and bullying very seriously, because it is such a huge thing now, especially with cyberbullying. There's just no escape from it. I really want to turn my channel into this really positive thing for my younger followers, that they can reach out to me. I do have a lot of younger followers that have contacted me and said, oh, you know, I dressed differently at school and I felt really bad about it, but then I watched your videos and I felt confident to be myself, which is the nicest messages I've ever got. Like, I've had some people that have just made me cry. I don't know where I'm going to go with my vintage store. I did do a lot of pop-up events last year, and unfortunately I find that because what I'm selling is quite niche, that I probably don't have endeavours to have a permanent shop front. I can probably see myself more getting into creating an actual product, so working with a company, creating like a makeup line, or creating my own custom-made wigs, or getting into more something like that, or even a clothing line. So that's probably where I will be going next. It's been kind of therapeutic for me to have my channel and to be able to promote this really positive message, and I will continue to do so for as long as I can.